Now moving over to the NBA, Wednesday night we had two of the I would say the more dynamic duos in the Eastern Conference. We know the Nets that with their dynamic duo Kevin Durant and James Harden, but they went against the Celtics. With their dynamic duo Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Listen, we know the Nets are where they need to be, number two in the Eastern Conference right now. The Celtics a little low on that. We tend to try to give them the benefit of the doubt that they'll finally get their act together and do what they need to do. The Nets end up winning this game 123 to 104. With that said, what did you take away from this game, this early season game with these dynamic duos, Jay?
The Nets are way better than the Celtics. It almost I think we felt like we talked about this these two teams a little bit last season because the Celtics pretty much the whole year were trying to like figure it out, and they really never did. I want to say, was this a first round matchup last year? Like
What?
maybe.
Let me get on the research department while you.
Yeah. I feel like it was, and I don't feel like it went well for the Celtics.
Yeah, whoever the Celtics played in the first round, it did go well.
I think it was. I think it was. Okay. Yep, it was. In the net, yeah, 2 versus 7 matchup. Nets won 4 games to 1.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't think much has changed. I think it's pretty obvious which is the better duo. I mean, KD and Harden. I mean, they weren't even that great, in this game on Wednesday night. I mean, Durant I think he had a really hot start. He was 3 for 3 from the floor, 4 for 4 from the line in the first quarter, I believe. And then, but like, Brooklyn just got off to such a hot start, and then the third quarter is when they really turned it on. That I mean, their dynamic duo didn't even have to do all that much. And I thought James Harden wasn't. I don't think he was that good at all. He didn't make a shot from 2-point territory. He was 0 for 4 there. He was 4 for 9 from 3. Shot 9 free throw attempts, had 11 assists. But I thought the difference was, even with that, the Nets had another duo that was better than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Patty Mills and LaMarcus Aldridge were better than they were. So
right,
which is weird because they were starting for Joe Harris and Blake Griffin. So I don't know. I'm just looking at Boston, and it just they were 10-8 coming into this game, which is that kind of woke me up because we still trying to get in the NBA swing of things, obviously.
Right.
But I was just like, after watching them, I was like, how have they even won this many games? Because they don't look good. Robert Williams wasn't in this game. I get all that. You got Grant Williams in there. But when you come out and you're just throwing up 3-pointers and you go 11 for 48 from 3, I don't think you're not going to win that many games shooting that poorly from 3. I mean, that sounds like a Houston Rockets stat line from a couple years ago to where they just throw them up there, just hoist them. And not only that, your top 2 guys, Tatum and Brown, go 1 for 17 from 3. And overall, they were 9 for 31. So Tatum was a minus 33 in this game. Just, I mean, like if those guys, if that's what those guys are going to do on nights where they play like this, they're not going to win games. They're just not, because the supporting cast, you just don't have it anymore. I mean, you don't have Kemba Walker, obviously Kyrie. I mean, well, neither team has Kyrie right now, but you don't have. I mean, think about it. Daniel Tice, don't have him anymore. Al Horford's on this team, but I don't think this is not the Al Horford from several years ago. I mean, this team got me like wanting, like, man, you know what? I miss Evan Fournier at this point. Can we get Fournier in this lineup? This bench is just atrocious, man. Like, it's when Romeo Langford and it's Nesmith and really Jabari Parker. That's all y'all have to offer. Yeah, Boston just. I haven't been excited about them ever since that trade deadline last year. That was clearly an underperforming season, and yet Brad Stevens gets a promotion, and you got Udoka in there. You know, to be fair, like they had won 3 in a row coming in this game. I think they were 2-5 at the start. They've been playing a lot better since then. But it's just clear that Boston is not an upper echelon Eastern Conference team. Brooklyn's clearly better than they are. I know they've got a win against Milwaukee where Schroeder went off for 38 points, but they're not better than Milwaukee. They're not better than Miami. There's so many teams in the pecking order to where I couldn't put Boston over, and it's really a fact of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They're your 2 best players. If they don't play well, they don't have much of a chance. And then for Brooklyn, coming in this game, the thing about Brooklyn is they're going to be able to score the ball because KD and Harden can do that. But last year it was always a case of like, are they going to play enough defense? Because you think about it, Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni, you know what that reputation is going back to the Phoenix Suns days. Last year I don't think they played very good defense. But this year, surprisingly, they were coming in 8th in defensive efficiency. And I was impressed with their activity. Like, KD's an elite 2-way player. He doesn't get, because he's so great on the offensive end, I don't think he quite gets the love that maybe he should on defense.
All right.
But James Harden, he's not quite as much of a slouch as he used to be. I thought this guy DeAndre Bembry, he had an impact. I really liked his activity. And then, Patty Mills, Aldridge, they're not known as great defenders, but I really thought they played a nice team brand of basketball. You had bench guys come in, they gave them good energy. And, I think it's concerning for Boston how many guys does Brooklyn not have how many guys for them need to sit out for you to be competitive? No Joe Harris, no Blake Griffin, no Kyrie, obviously. And Drink, it's bad when they go on a 17-0 run from the 3rd into the 4th, and they're still down 12. So, yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Brooklyn's just better, and if Boston doesn't get big nights from their young duo, they'll struggle to win games.
So it's crazy. So I'm looking at this, right? So I just want to throw this out here, and this is how simple it is, folks. Sometimes it just comes down to simple, arithmetic, simple math. Durant, plus 20. Harden, plus 29. This differential that I'm talking, people. Patty Mills, plus 20. LaMarcus Aldridge, plus 13. And I think his name is DeAndre Bumbin, or however you say that. Bembry, okay. Plus 16. Hey, listen, you got to play more so I know your name, man. But either way, right? Then I go and look at Boston, per se, 5 impact players. Jason Tatum, negative 33. Jaylen Brown, negative 7. Marcus Smart, negative 10. Al Horford, negative 20. Dennis Schroeder, negative 1. Listen, that ain't going to get the job done, folks. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is. Right now, Boston look like a play-in tournament team. The Nets look like they just going to be waiting on the winner of the play-in tournament. That's what we looking like right now. Bar none. And here's the deal. This is not even the thing is, just like you said, the Nets not full strength either. And they still getting the job done. You got to still get the job done. I got it. Hey, you missing this guy. You missing that guy. Celtics just not looking good. I sent you an article earlier that they said an anonymous assistant coach in the Eastern Conference said that Jason Tatum don't even look like he interested in playing team ball right now, or at least winning in a team fashion. He just bought his numbers. Or if he want to win, he want to win on his terms. That's not good to hear about your star. Your star player, when you start hearing stuff like that from other coaches in your conference, I don't know, man. I'm not in love with that. And then you remember probably a month ago, Marcus Smart called out Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for being basically one-way players. Are we not going to pass the ball? So every time we pass the ball to either Tatum or Brown, y'all just going to shoot it? Don't worry about nobody else on the team, right? Oh, you're right. It's only one. I know it's only the one stat that matters, points. But you kind of need some assists and some rebounds to win this too. Why do I bring that up? I bring that up because as I look at Jason Tatum, right? You said this. Jason Tatum played 30 minutes. He went 4 from 16. 1 for 9 from the 3-point, right? 6 for 8 in the free throw. So I always say this, and this is why I say it. If you cannot score the ball, what else can you give me? Can you give me something else where I can say, hey, that dude didn't score the ball, but he did something. He did his job in this area. I'm looking, he got 8 rebounds. Okay, 3 assists. I mean, could we get a couple more assists, Jaden, since you're not gonna score the ball? Could we get a couple more rebounds? Could you help us in another area? Hold on, bring that back. Let me go ahead and let me talk to Jaylen Brown right quick. Because you know he went 5 for 15. Oh, yeah, and that whopping goose egg from the 3-point line. He did go 3 for 3 from the free throw, but you need more than 3 points from the free throw line if you're going to make yourself a contributor into winning basketball. 5 rebounds and 2 steals. I'm sorry, man. Like, you got to give me more. At least Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart played 36 minutes. And the reason I'm going to beat up on Marcus Smart is in 36 minutes, I do expect a little more than this. However, it's Marcus Smart. He's a true role player. His role is already panned out before anybody even throw the ball up. We know what Marcus Smart do. He ain't a superstar. He ain't there to like get all the accolades and woo, look at me. He there to do the dirty work. Marcus Smart, 36 minutes. 6 of 14 from the field goal. 3 for 8 from the 3-point line. 5 for 5 from the free throw line. 3 rebounds and 8 assists. 2 steals. I'm not even gonna read the rest of this. I'm just looking at. I'm trying to find out who in the hell showed up. Who showed up? I mean, as a collective, they got 104 points on the board, but I don't know who the hell showed up to be the alpha in this one. Maybe we need hey Kimber. You still maybe not. I don't know what happened, but that's not it. Then you go against one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets, coming in with a 14-5 record coming into that game. And here's the deal. Like you said, Durant and Harden did not play the best game. But let me tell you what Durant did. Let me tell you what Harden did in 36 minutes. Didn't blow you away with the 20 points, but golly, he blew me away with 11 assists. Give me something when you're not dropping points. Give me something. That means it was 11, possessions where James Harden made sure someone else scored the ball. That is what we got to do, folks. If you're not going to score the ball, can you impact the game another way? And you know why that helps? Because then that helps the likes of, who do you know? Patty Mills, LaMarcus Aldridge. It helps them get into the game. That way, you can play like crap as a star player. You know why? Because your guys got your back. So I'm looking Patty Mills. Patty Mills coming out. He goes 7 for 10 from the 3-point line. Sign me up, man. Sign me up. I can dig that. I can dig Patty Mills if he's gonna drop off 23 extra points for us and get us over the hump. LaMarcus Aldridge coming out. One of the relatively old men that's left on the roster. But 29 minutes, give me 17 points. And give me 9 rebounds. Okay, I can take that from him. So my whole point is this. When I start looking at them plus and minuses, that's probably going to give you a good story of what happened here. When you wasn't impactful, you just wasn't impactful. When you was impactful, you were impactful. That's the difference between the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics right now. Now, can the Celtics get it together? I would like to think so. However, you said this. We got evidence of this going back to last year to where we like, oh, no, man. Then Brad Stevens get a promotion. So when you start promoting people for the wrong reasons, it never turns out well, right? And so we still kind of wonder where the dirty picture's at, because how did Brad Stevens get promoted after last year's performance? Somebody got the emails. And I ain't talking about the ones John Gruden had. We talking about some other emails. So with that said, we want to know what's going on. But as far as I'm concerned, the Celtics look like a play-in tournament team. and the Nets look like the top of the Eastern Conference, like we thought they would.
Rick, I think I remember last season, late in last season, we were on a little bit different side of Brad Stevens. I think you felt like it would perfectly be within Boston's rights to get rid of him as a coach. I was on the opposite side of that, but I definitely wasn't for a promotion. I didn't see that coming. I thought he deserved to keep coaching. I mean, a down year, it happens. I'm going to also say this about a couple other quick notes on this one. Just to go back to the contrast of these two duos, there's one stat that I think is very telling for these two, and I think it goes to your point of doing more than just scoring the ball. Durant and Harden combined for 19 assists last night. Tatum and Brown got 3. So I think the overarching point at this stage, and obviously Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I think they're still like their best days are ahead of them. Like I think there's still a lot of room for them to improve. But I wouldn't necessarily say they're guys that make other players better at this stage. I think that's the next stage for them. But also, like, just in defense of them, like to me, like, because we know how close Jason Tatum was to Kobe Bryant. Kobe was a mentor of his, I believe. And it seemed like Tatum has a little bit of that mentality. It reminds me of like the Kobe teams right after Shaq left. They weren't very good. There wasn't a whole lot around him, so he said, "Oh, I pull out my do-it-yourself kit." That's what this almost reminds me of. Outside of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who else would you rely on? Like I mean, Marcus Smart, he is. So I think like Boston to me, like they don't have a Patty Mills. Like they don't have a guy that you can just kick the ball to, and he's a knockdown shooter and is going to take care of you out there. Obviously, because they 11 for 48 from 3. I mean, that's just. And a lot of that's on those two guys themselves. But when Marcus Smart comes out there and he's your best 3-point shooter, that's trouble. That's trouble. The last point, real quick. He only played 7 minutes last night. Enes Kanter had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 4 of them offensive, and 2 block shots. I was really confused as to why he had that much impact in that little amount of time, and he didn't get more run. I thought that was curious. I think Udoka should play him a little bit more going forward. I know he's not that fleet of foot, and he's a liability on defense, but man, he's a problem on the offensive glass, and I think that's something that they could use moving forward.